too early for this. I'm already late. Last Christmas, I bought myself a GoPro and I was really eager to try it out. So when I had an opportunity to go to the Bone Valley for the day, I grabbed the camera, hopped in the car, and off I went. Looking back at the footage now, it's not bad, it's not great, not quite what I wanted, I'm not used to the camera yet, but I digress. I started my day on the Beeline Highway, headed west, stopped at Indian Town for gas and food, and then made my way to Okeechobee, turned right onto 441. The sun had already risen by the time I made my left turn at Yeehaw Junction. From there, it's a straight shot across the Kissimmee River Prairie to Lake Wales, where I'd stopped to check out the Florida Midland Railroad. With nothing but parked cars and a siding, it was time to head west. As I pulled into Bartow, the radio picked up and the hunt was on. So we're coming up into Lakeland. 0738 was talking to the dispatcher. And then there's two trains in Winston Yard trying to coordinate their moves around each other right now. I suspect that 0738 is about to leave. And that he's one of the trains that's talking.
There's 110 and 11, Charlie. He told me about it.
A quick peek into Winston revealed 0730's power getting out of the way, so a yard crew could swing some cars onto the head end of their train. Also of note were ex-Conrail SD60Ms left in storage. All of these units have now been scrapped or sold off to new owners.
Hey James, roadway put a derailer north in the 10. I had him pick that derailer up, so he's not going to put the derailer down until you grab 10 and drag it south.
So the dispatcher just called the K371 and gave him an EC1 out of New Wales headed over towards Ridgewood. And the 0730 was talking and said something about coming out of the south end of Winston. So I'm going to sit here and wait about 10 minutes for 0730. If he doesn't show up by then, I'm going to go get that K371. Sure enough, the 0730 stood still. So I headed back down to Mulberry and set up at the south end of IMC siding. For those of you unfamiliar with Florida, this location here is the south end of IMC siding, which is also where the White's Mulberry Yard comes off of. As anyone who rail fans the Bone Valley will tell you, when it rains, it pours. As K371 was passing by, K339 appeared on the radio, asking for permission down to Ag Rock.
K33904 5206 J.L. Brown. Circle line 1A. Main track, south direction, from south Welcome Yard Limit, Maine, to south Ag Rock Yard Limit, Maine. Over.
With no time to waste, I jumped back in the car, barely beating K339 down to Bradley Junction. I'd love to stay and watch this thing go by. 0730 is now on the move, so I gotta head back up to Mulberry if I want a chance at him.
3004 7216 Hardy Man. Circle line 1A. Main track, both directions between SAS North and IMC Maine and SVC 838.0 Maine. Over.
So, K371, 339, and now the 0730. I have had my fill of Bone Valley stuff for the day, so I'm gonna head on up towards Lakeland, try to get some lunch. So originally, plan was for me to go get some Chipotle, go up to Lakeland, see Amtrak. Plan has changed. The dispatcher announced that there is a Ridgewood dry rock empty on the way. 0731 is waiting for the 0730 to clear up, and there's another outbound K339. I kind of forgot how slow the trains are through here. It's a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit through this part of Edison Junction, and while I really wanted K339, I was in no hurry given that this one had to clear up first. Besides, all that yapping you hear, that's a cute little chihuahua who came running out of his house to defend it from the big bad train going by, and I was giving him all the attention I could before I had to leave.
Where's the 535 JL Brown, the copies of line 18, operate on the main track in the northbound direction from the switch at Edison main track to SAS South End by Rico main track.
Alright, good copy, 1403 BSS.
1403 BSS JL Brown.
Alright, give me a shout when you're clear of the one you're on right now, and you're welcome or bar welcome if you would.
After K339 passed, 0731 made his presence known, needing to switch the line plant at Nichols.
073104, engine 400, CL Everly. Circle line 1A. Main track, both directions, between SAS North End IMC main and the SV 836.0 main. Circle line 11. Okay to handle the switch, SV 837.8. Over.
So this is the absolute busiest Bone Valley day I've ever seen. I mean, you come out here normally, you get 0730 twice because it's a turn job, and then if you're lucky and you play your cards right, you get one or two rock trains. Today, I've seen K371, K339, 0730, K311, and I just got K339 again, and I'm literally staring at 0731 switching the quicklime plant right now. This is ridiculous. This never happens. After watching 0731 spot his cars, I headed over towards Ridgewood on a blind hunch, which I'm kind of notorious for doing. And it didn't work. There's nothing there, so ended up heading towards the north end of Winston, where I watched 0738 put away some auto racks, a very unusual move. The only moment worth shooting was when he came from the BV main, out the north end of the yard, and backed into the yard lead. So that turned out to be 0738. He was switching some auto racks, dropped them on the BV main, and went back into the yard. A little unusual. I've never seen him working any auto racks, but it's about 4:30 now. Lakeland seems pretty dead. I don't hear anything on the scanner. The only thing I can really hope for is trains coming back from Ridgewood and Fort Meade down on the Bone Valley. So gonna head back that way, probably grab some dinner somewhere and start making my way back home. But even if I don't find anything else, 7 trains, 6 of them in the valley, it's a pretty good day in my book. My day wasn't over quite yet. See, the running joke is every time we go to the Bone Valley, we get bored. And then we go up to Lakeland, we run around Lakeland, and we try to find stuff in Lakeland, but it's dead too. And while we're up in Lakeland, everything moves in the valley, but now we're too far away to go back down and get it. Same thing happened today, except with a twist. 0730 was dragging a long train of loaded phosphate back up towards Mulberry and stalled on the hill at Nichols, which snarled up the railroad just long enough for me to get back down and bag K371 one last time.
SAS Tolga 92 main track to the SAS South End Valrica main track over.
With 8 on the day and the sunlight fading fast, it was time to call it quits. After the tail end of K371 passed, I pointed my Equinox east and booked it home, thoroughly satisfied with the day's journey. Thanks for coming along today. Sorry if some of this was a little weird and unusual for what I normally do, but this was really an experimental episode. I hope y'all take it easy, blaze your own trail.